Hey everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Well everybody, I understand that October has just begun, but unfortunately, Nightmare Month on my show is not ready just yet. Mainly due to things getting really slow, and I want my decorations to be simple for my first Halloween here at my apartment. But anyway, for today's episode, we're going to look at Princess Sofia's Season 3 finale. But is it as good as the previous two season closers? Well, let's find out. Airing on television on March 31st, 2017, this is one for the books. And now, on for the plot of the episode. A new school year has started at Royal Prep, but unfortunately, it's not going so well for Prince Desmond. The Majestic Hall teacher, Professor Peculian, has very strange methods that Desmond doesn't understand, and he finds himself struggling with the assignment of getting his mystery plant to grow fruit. He's too embarrassed to ask for help, so he tries to take a shortcut, which unfortunately causes chaos. So, what do I think? Well, I found this to be a pretty interesting episode to end off Season 3. And to further explain what I'm talking about, let's move on to Mustang notes. Now, there's not a lot of trivia to talk about, but all I can say is that the moral of this episode is, don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. Which is another lesson that I can identify with, because sometimes when I struggle on something that I don't understand, I usually am afraid to ask for help from others, and I usually think that I can handle it on my own sometimes, until it is time to swallow my pride and finally find someone to help me. As for the animation, well, as usual, the CGI animation is great, despite the fact that there are a few goofs during 3 parts of the episode. And I like that it takes place during the beginning of a new school year, which pretty much just got started about 2 months ago. Plus, I think the Majestic Hall classroom is really magical. Like when the room makes you go upside down, sideways, or makes you float. And I find it pretty interesting that the first school assignment of the year revolves around mystery gardening, where you need to make your magical tree grow fruit from whatever the gardener loves. For example, Vivian makes hers grow with music, James makes his grow from pudding, and Amber makes hers grow with compliments. However, later on in the episode, the assignment becomes very serious due to a rule being discovered where you should never, ever use enchanted gardening tools on a mystery plant. Otherwise, it will turn into a monster. And now, let's talk about the episode's song, Live It to Learn It, sung by Professor Peculian. In my opinion, this song is pretty interesting due to it teaching the royal children that there are other exciting and different ways of learning other than reading books, like experiencing life outside your classroom or going on a thrilling adventure. And now, let's talk about the characters and their voice actors. Princess Sofia is voiced once again by Ariel Winter, whom was young Kyrie in the Kingdom Hearts game series, Marina in Jake and the Neverland Pirates, a few of Thumper's sisters in Bambi 2, Marlene in the complete version of Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, young Trixie in Speed Racer, Penny Peterson in DreamWorks Mr. Peabody and Sherman, and Smurf Lily in Smurfs the Lost Village. As usual, Princess Sofia is a kind and compassionate princess, and I like that she tries to help her friends however she can. And in this episode, during her Majestic Hall class on her first day back at Royal Prep, Sofia offers to help Desmond several times, but unfortunately he keeps refusing due to him being used to being the best in class. Later on, After Desmond's mystery tree turns into a monster, Sophia helps Desmond undo what he did and then takes him to Mr. P, who helps him realize that the trees thrive on whatever their owners like. Also, I found it really cute that Sophia's mystery tree grows fruit with friendship. Our main character, Prince Desmond, is voiced by Joshua Carlin, whom was in Nickelodeon's Sam and Cat, the Netflix series Richie Rich, and the ABC/Sony sitcom The Goldbergs. To me, like in previous episodes, Desmond is a smart and organized boy, and he is known for freaking out when things go awry. And during this episode, while Desmond feels that he's all set when moving up to Majestic Hall with his classmates, as soon as he meets Professor Peculian, he becomes pretty confused by his new teacher's teaching style. And when he gives the students mystery trees as a mystery gardening project, Desmond falls behind his classmates due to them having theirs grow fruit right away. After constantly refusing Sophia's help and failing to find a solution in the library, Desmond then tries using his enchanted gardening skills only for his tree to turn into a monster and go on a rampage. This disaster makes Desmond finally swallow his pride and go to Sophia for help. And after realizing the pattern of what his classmates' mystery trees like, he finally makes his tree grow fruit by reading the story of Jack and the Beanstalk, since he likes books. Another character to talk about is Professor Peculian, or Mr. P for short, voiced by Steve Valentine, whom was in Don't Look Under the Bed, the Wizards of Waverly Place movie, Avalon High, the Teen Beach movie, along with 2008's Tinkerbell, and of course 2009's A Christmas Carol. Now, this character is the second fawn featured in this animated series, the first being Winter in Winter's Gift. In my opinion, Professor Peculian is a very smart, friendly, fun, but eccentric fawn, and while he understands the importance of books, he also understands the importance of learning from experience, or, as he puts it, going out and doing. Other voice actors include Darcy Rose Byers, Nicholas Cantu, Sabrina Carpenter, and of course, director Jamie Mitchell. And now on to my final words. Overall, One for the Books was a pretty interesting episode to end Sophia's third season. It has decent CGI animation, despite a few goofs in a few scenes. The moral of this episode is much more complex than just asking for help. Plus, as I said earlier, Desmond is a character who prides himself on being smart and organized. He's known for freaking out when things go awry. He acknowledges that he has a strong drive to do well in class. His experience is pretty relatable, and it also helps that he's playing off Sophia, who's had this conflict before. And Professor Peculian, or Mr. P, is a pretty eccentric character, but still professional. Lastly, there's a whimsical tone mixed in with over-the-top humor, and I like that this episode teaches a moral to not be afraid to swallow your pride and ask for help, since teachers only want their students to succeed in their life successfully. As for my rating, I'll give it an 87% out of 100. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me for my next blog, where we finally begin my 2023 Nightmare Month. Mustang Power.